Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is January the 4th. We had a bunch of games on the board for today. Quick recap as always, go through a couple comments and then jump into the games for today. Ended up sending out just one official play yesterday, and it ended up being well, I talked about it on the show yesterday. It was the Memphis Grizzlies who decided to really never show up. Never really showed up in Sacramento last night. Sacramento hit 10 threes, I think, in the first quarter. That game never had they never had a chance, even though they only lost the game by 5 points on a late three by Jalen Wells. One second. All right. That never really had a chance. A lot of things that I talked about, it was about a 50-50, depending on what you bet yesterday for what I talked about on the show. Let's go through it real quick. So we had Memphis as an official play. Malik Beasley never showed up in that game. Maybe it's because he played in the Timberwolves today, and it's a bounce back spot for him. Probably not betting on Malik Beasley for a while. I think he shot like 1 for 9 from the 3-point line. He was on the short list. Toronto plus the 1. They got smoked yesterday. San Antonio plus the 7. They won the game outright yesterday. Boston -2 was on the short list. They smoked the Houston Rockets. New York plus the 4.5 was a winner until about 5 minutes left. They literally just couldn't go to basketball anymore. And the Washington Wizards won the first quarter, first half, but ended up getting blown out in the full game to the Pacers, to the Pelicans. So that's a quick recap of the games that I wanted to kind of get there on yesterday. I had some stuff come up, so I ended up not making any more official plays. Didn't get a chance to watch too many of the games, the early parts of the games yesterday. So we'll just go with the 1-0 day, 0-1 day for myself yesterday. Tons of ways to get paid today, though. We're gonna jump right into it. Go through a couple comments and let's do it. Let's see who here. A lot of people here with us. Julio says, told you, Chris. Charlotte, the hell with jaXon. Okay. Boston, OKC, Cleveland. Oh man. Okay. All right, cool. What up, Brian? Says, good morning, Chris. Those first quarter Washington Wizards and Spurs were good to me, but the Grizzlies didn't show up. At first, it's tough. Yeah, they got absolutely smoked in the first quarter. I think they gave up like 42 points in the first quarter. What up, G Hurd? Says, I think at least 4 people in the chat today could get bench minutes with the Knicks. My goodness, what a collapse. That's what happened when you don't got your best guy, McBride, off the bench to be able to come out there and close the game for you. I think that had a big part to do with it. What up, GLB Bets? Justin in here with us as always. Good morning, bro. Easy Money Poppy says, Gamblers Buffet. Let's cash them. That's what we need to do. What up, J-Man? Marquis says he had a 5-3 night last night. Kawhi is supposed to debut. We'll talk about it. What's up, Jalen? Hope all is well with you, bro. Good morning, Merrill. Good morning, Andrew. Peasy, top of the morning to my guy. What up, Mark? He says, rough NBA day needs to bounce back. I need one too, man. I need one too. 0-1 day, but hate it. Grizzlies 5-0 straight up and against the spread on Saturdays. Oh, man. We'll talk about that Grizzlies game. What up, Lightbearer? Appreciate you for tapping in. Drop a dimes. He says, if you aren't in the Discord, you're really missing out. Vibes are immaculate, and they absolutely are. Tibbs will run his guys into the ground for sure. That's a fact. What up, G421? Says, what up, gang? Anybody else rush to the window, catching a live total 274.5 under that Grizzlies game? I said, hell no. I did end up staying under. The Kings not going to shoot the ball that well. We just happened to catch them on one of their best three-point shooting nights. The Grizzlies not going to play defense that bad either, but last night they decided to not play any defense. DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis hit 2 threes apiece in the first quarter. I knew the bet ain't have a chance after that. Memphis just a rare game where they don't show up. Jared Jackson Jr. always talk about him on the road having the IQ of a rock because he stay in foul trouble, and that's what he did last night, but neither here nor there. Let's jump into it for today, man. We got jaXon first up as always. I'm interested to know, there's some tough games on the board for today. A couple spots that I really want to take. One that I really love that I am going to play. The couple that I'm debating about. So let's jump into it. I asked jaXon about the Suns and the Pacers, specifically the total. because I think it's an interesting total. 235. I think it's coming down to 234. I think I agree with the movement coming down. Let's see what jaXon says. All right, so jaXon makes me a table. Advanced stats, last 5 games. Phoenix Suns averaging just 101.2 points per game. Pacers averaging 116. That says under. That's only 217 points. Points allowed, Pacers giving up 122. Suns giving up 108. So that's also 230 points. Offensive rating, 106 for the Suns, 119 for the Pacers. Defensive rating, 113 for the Suns, 124 for the Pacers. And then pace numbers. Suns 95 possessions, 95 in pace, Pacers 98 in pace. So combined scoring totals, last 5 games, Suns and Pacers have combined for an average of 217 points per game. Defensively, they've allowed a combined 230 points per game. Pace of play, Pacers are playing at a faster pace, 98.11 possessions per game compared to 95 for the Suns. This suggests the Pacers would dictate a higher scoring higher tempo, which could increase the total scoring potential. Offensive and defensive rating, the Pacers have been highly efficient offensively with the offensive rating of 119, but the defense has struggled with 124.86 offensive rating for their opponents. The Suns, on the other hand, have been less efficient offensively, 106.6 offensive rating, have a strong defensive rating, 113.98 compared to the Pacers. Recent betting trends, the Suns have gone under the total in 7 of their last 10 games, including an active streak of 5 consecutive unders. The Pacers have gone over their total in 5 consecutive games, reflecting the higher scoring offense and defensive struggles. Head-to-head matchup, while there's no specific head-to-head data in the research, the Pacers' fast pace and defensive inefficiencies suggest a higher scoring game, while the Suns' recent trends of unders could temper expectations slightly. So recommendations, given the advanced stats and trends, the Pacers' fast pace and higher scoring offense combined with their defensive struggles suggest a strong potential for a higher scoring game. The Suns' slower pace and recent trends to the under could balance this out, but the Pacers' influence on tempo and scoring is likely to dominate. If the total line is set around 230, I lean towards the over, as the Pacers' recent form and defensive efficiencies could push the total higher. However, if the line is significantly higher, 235 or higher, it might be worth considering the under for the Suns' slower pace and defensive capabilities. And I think this total is set at about 235. So jaXon sounds like it likes the under at about 235, and I'm in agreement with jaXon. Real quick, if you guys have not heard of jaXon, if you're new to the show, jaXon is, as you guys see on the screen, your AI sports betting buddy. A lot of different tons of insight, player props, sides, totals, NBA, NFL, college basketball, MLB. Interested to see if WNBA is going to be on here, but as you can tell, you can handicap the games. You can type in this prompt, you can type in other prompts, and it'll spit some stuff out to you. You can ride it if you want to, ride with it if you want to, or you can fade it if you want to, if you disagree with jaXon. But real cool sports betting tool that I absolutely love. There's a 50% promo code in the description of the video if you're interested in signing up. Let's jump into it for today, man. First game we got up, the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. This line, I had my notes at 7.5. I don't think it's moved a ton. Let's see, double check real quick. We got We got 6.5. It looks like it opened 7.5, whatever the case might be. Total open 216.5, and it has come down to 214.5. So injury report, which is why the NBA stinks. Got Embiid listed as questionable, Clowney listed as questionable, Cam Thomas listed as questionable, Cam Johnson is out after rolling his ankle, and Drummond is off the injury report. That's what I wrote down in my notes last night. Yeah, I think that's it. And Kelly Oubre is also game time decision. He's missed the last 2 games for them. So things to take into consideration. Some things to take into consideration as far as injury report goes. All right, so head-to-head wise, Philly has dominated the Brooklyn Nets. They won 8 of the last 10. They've covered 8 of the last 10. And the only game they played this season, they were in Philly as a 3-point home favorite. That game went under the total of 214.5. Situationally, Philly first game back on the East Coast, but the last game of a 6-game road trip. This is the 3rd game in 4 nights and the 4th game in 6 nights. They got absolutely smoked in Golden State the other night, 139-105. The Warriors smoked them as a 3.5-point dog in that spot. Also lost to the Kings on the first leg of that back-to-back after letting the Kings go on a 15-0 run to end the game. So you got a Sixers team that's 7-2-1 to the over in their last 10 games. Offensively, it feels like they're starting to figure it out a little bit, especially with these super low totals. And defensively, they've been night and day. Like you really have no idea what you're gonna get from the Sixers. They can, go in and beat Boston on Christmas in Boston, and they can actually lose to the Kings and not score a point in the last 5 minutes. So I'm not sure what to do with Philly right now. No idea what to do with Philly. I thought I knew what to do with Brooklyn until the last 2 minutes of their game. I was just gonna bet overs. I tweeted this out the other day. I was just gonna bet overs in the Brooklyn game, thinking that the odds makers hadn't caught up with them having a lot of offense on the floor. With Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, D'Angelo Russell, they got some three-point shooters. They can absolutely knock it down, stretch the floor. You got rollers that can get to the rim with Clowney and Claxton. But if Cam Thomas is questionable with the hamstring injury and Cam Johnson is out, that's a lot less efficient offense on the floor. Cam Johnson hit 6 threes the other day in that game against the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Brooklyn Nets, I have no idea what to do with this team. I don't even see D'Lo on the injury report, but he did get carried off, not even on his own strength. I think he rolled his ankle or something in that last game. No idea what's going on with him. Brooklyn is coming off the first game back home after 3 straight road games. They've played 5 of their last 6 games on the road, so they've been traveling a ton. I just kind of wanted to take overs, and I still think I'll probably get there to an over in this game, but it's not a game that I'm super interested in playing. Not a game that I'm interested in playing. I will say this, and I talked about it yesterday real quick before we get into go through the comments. The Brooklyn Nets are coming out. I kind of like this angle for Brooklyn. It's early, but then I think about Boston, just being a shell of themselves and how they may want to come out with something early, especially after getting smoked from pretty much from the tip-off against Golden State. Brooklyn is the second best first quarter ATS team, 22-10-2. Against the number. For whatever reason, when they run out of gas or just start to tank and try to lose the game on purpose, whatever you think Brooklyn is doing, because I've watched it a couple games now in a row, they just run out of gas. They don't score the ball at all when they get up in the game. I watched this happen against the Orlando Magic a couple games ago. Orlando won the fourth quarter by 18 points, 20 points. You see the Milwaukee Bucks. If you watched that game the other day, Milwaukee goes on a 15-0 run or a 13-0 run, something like that. So if you like Brooklyn, maybe you take them early, 10-2 against the spread in the first quarter. Last 10 games, they're 8-2, best record in the NBA in the first quarter. Them and the Jazz both 8-2. Wizards 8-1-1. So those are the ways that I would probably want to play this game. I have no idea what to do with the Philadelphia 76ers though, none. Maxey, I guess, is due for a bounce back. He's been stinking it up recently. Back-to-back bad games for him. I don't know what to do with this one, man. Let's see. What are you guys thinking in this one? At least you just send me an email. I say this every day. You send me an email at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's, and I'll shoot the Discord link to you. Or you could hit me on Twitter or X at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's, and I'll send the link to you. Let's see. What up, Charles? What up, Anthony? All right. Let's get to D-Lo. Jalen says over his 8.5 rebounds and assists. I'm gonna make a list because I'm gonna go pretty slow today. As far as making my bets, I'm not gonna try to make the show too long. And I forgot to say this too. I do got a contractor supposed to be coming to check out my Peloton tread, that is not getting power to the motherboard for whatever reason. So if I pause the show for a few minutes, it's just to let the guy in the crib. He is supposed to be coming in the next hour. So I need to see the D-Lo. I need to see the D-Lo stuff. I do need to see the D-Lo stuff. I'm writing that down. Not on the injury report, but it didn't look like he was going to come back. Maybe it was just a cramp or a Charlie horse or something. But he looked terrible in that game. Let's see. Charles says Nets money line, keep the points. I don't think so in this spot, but I've been wrong before. Brian said Sixers here. I don't know if I could trust him. I like Maxey points. Net spot for J-Man. Steve said 76ers first half. Bad loss for Philly. Terrible loss for Philly. Brooklyn team total under. I'm definitely not playing that already. Best of luck to you. Brooklyn team totals be way too low, in my opinion. Dropping Dime says, do we think Philly team total over 110.5? I guess. I don't know what to do with Philly, man. No idea what to do with Philly. Nets as 11-point favorite last game. Philly off a 30-point loss. That's what you would think, Steve. That's what you would think. You also didn't expect them to lose to the Suns. I'm sorry, to the Kings in dramatic fashion the night before. Christopher says, good morning, Chris. Just got in, but wanted to say I watched the OKC New York game and so happy to see real NBA teams play a great game. That was a good game until the Knicks just ran out of gas late. But, I mean, you got to tip your cap to OKC, man. That team is so good. First time all season I even considered betting against them. And they got the job done, even on coming back in that game. Let's see. What up, Bissy says, yo, Chris, not liking the Knicks team total this game. It's not that I don't like it, Bissy. It's that Cam Thomas is questionable. Cam Johnson is out, and I don't know what's going on with D'Lo. That's what it is for me. I think it's absolutely insane to bet this game before knowing if Embiid's going to play. Like, he's so terrible. Honestly, you might like him better without Embiid. Mitchell says, you think the Nets can get to an even 108 with all the injuries? Team total might be tough. Yeah, it's not enough for me to want to bet it. Merrill likes D'Lo rebounds and assists. Sixers play some ugly basketball. If Embiid's not playing, I'd probably stay off, Christian says. Let's see it. Merrill says Embiid over 8.5 free throws. D'Lo assists, 5.5. Got steamed so fast. Got him minus 115, Bissy says. GLB Bet says overs 22-9-1 this season when the teams have scored less than or equal to 105 points in exactly 3 out of their last 3 home games in this spot. I think he put this in the Discord last night. Shout out to GLB Bets. He thinks that this game potentially goes up and over, and I agree with that. Scott says overnight lines are horrible here in Vegas. Over 216, woke up 214.5. Maxey over. Nets guards both on bad wheels. Maxey gonna run circles around him. This makes, I mean, Maxey got to come back out with something. He looked terrible against the Warriors last game. He didn't get his points prop. I think he was 27.5. He landed on 27 against the Kings the other day as well. She says over. Yeah. All right, let's move over. Like I said, I need that. I wrote D'Lo injury news. I need that. If D'Lo plays, Embiid plays. If D'Lo plays and either way, if D'Lo plays, I like the over, but I really want Cam Johnson to be in. I can't play without Cam Thomas, but those are just my thoughts. Next game up, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Detroit Pistons. This line opened at 6. Total hasn't really moved a lot. It was at 218. I think it's still at 218 right now. The line has gotten a little bit bigger in favor of the Timberwolves. Like I said, they opened at 6 and they're up to 7.5 out there as well. So you got a Timberwolves team that is coming off back-to-back losses, albeit they've been against the cream of the crop. The Timberwolves just lost to the Celtics and lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Probably the 2 best teams in the NBA, if not top teams in the NBA. Injury report here. Just double check it. Timberwolves should be straight outside of Rob Dillingham, who, I mean, he doesn't mean that much. Detroit can submit an injury report late, of course. Simone Fontecchio did not play yesterday. Jaden Ivey, of course, he'll be out for the rest of the season. Minnesota dominates Detroit. They've won 7 of the last 10, 2 in a row. Detroit has covered, though. They've covered 4 straight spreads in the head-to-head matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they have matched up really well against them. I watched Detroit use a lot of energy last night to come back. They were down double digits at halftime. And they came all the way back. They actually were about to cover. And, their offense just kind of sputtered last night. And I think it's going to do the same thing. As long as Minnesota takes this game serious, I think that their offense could sputter again. And I feel like we get a pretty good effort from the Timberwolves coming off back-to-back losses. I know it's a non-conference game, and let me just double-check it real quick and see what they have done in non-conference games so far this season. I feel like I don't really like trusting the Timberwolves when it's a non-conference game. So they're 3-5 against the number, only covering 37.5% of the games. But they are coming off back-to-back losses. They do have the rest advantage where they are 6-3 against the number so far this season. So 66% there. 9-8 against the spread on the road, 52.9%. Coming off a loss, only 6-8 against the spread. So their games have actually gone over 4 straight is what I wrote in my notes for the Timberwolves. Detroit, second leg of a back-to-back. Also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games before last night. So both of these teams going up and over the total with a total this low. And I feel like that's been a lot of my success recently. You guys know anything about the way I like to bet, and you've been watching the show over the last couple of years. I typically like to bet unders, but it's so difficult, man. It's not that games don't go under, but it's so difficult with the 3-point variance in the NBA right now. So difficult. Timberwolves shot 45 threes against the Celtics the other day. Like, who knows if they're gonna go in? If they go in, of course it's gonna go over. If they don't go in, it's probably gonna go under. It's difficult to bet totals right now. So a lot of my success has been staying away from the totals, especially the totals between two good defensive teams. Not that Detroit is a good defensive team at all. They just caught the Charlotte Hornets without LaMelo and Brandon Miller yesterday. So I think Timberwolves are the right side. Didn't bet the game, but that's the way that I would look in this game. Outside of Cade, Malik Beasley playing against his former team, like maybe he steps up with something. Rudy Gobert should absolutely own the paint in this spot against Jalen Duren, in my opinion. I would look for the Timberwolves to bounce back in this spot. That's the way that I would play it. Maybe a look towards their team total to go up and over as well. Just super quick cap here. As far as narratives and stuff like that. A lot of people probably, read or listened to Anthony Edwards' post-game interview, him talking about being so frustrated the teams are double teaming, making him a passer, how frustrating that is for him because he's a natural scorer. He should be a natural playmaker. If Detroit does the same thing today, I feel like Anthony Edwards should go up and over his assist prop. Detroit's not a good 3-point defense. Timberwolves only want to shoot threes. That's all they do. They've turned into a version of the Boston Celtics. In Detroit on the second leg of a back-to-back after exerting that much energy last night, I can only look towards the Timberwolves. Timberwolves team total over, I think, is what I'll look a little bit deeper into. Let's see real quick. All right, so real quick, let's look at I think I did this already. I want to look at Detroit on the second leg of a back-to-back. I feel like they've been profitable, but now they don't have Ivy and they're on the second leg of a back-to-back. And Tobias Harris had a good game yesterday. Probably time to fade him. He's not gonna keep having good games, in my opinion. Pistons rest equals 0. So Pistons are this season, they are. I can get it to populate, and then we'll get over to we'll go through the rest of the comments. Come on, man. All right. Not going to be able to wait this long for Mr. Load. It's taking way too long. Let's see. Pistons 1-5 straight up, 4-2 against the number though on the second leg of a back-to-back, 3-2-1 to the over. Their opponents are, Their opponents are 5-1 to their team total over. Pistons giving up an average of 19 points per game in this spot on the second leg of a back-to-back. Celtics scored 130. Sixers got to 111 because they suck. The Bulls got to 122. The Bucks got to 127. Lakers only got to 103. And the Celtics got to 124. So I think the Timberwolves should be able to score. Total sitting at 217.5. I think that's a really good look. Timberwolves' road favorites are man, this is moving slow this morning. All right, let's look at Timberwolves real quick as road favorites. Timberwolves are 6-6 straight up and against the spread. They're winning by an average of 2 points per game. And they've gone under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 straight unders. Under against the Hawks, under against the Spurs, under against the Warriors, under against the Clippers, and under against the Kings. You do not like to see that at all. 6 of their last 7 have actually gone under. The only over came against the Kings, and it was in overtime. You don't like to see that. I think they should be able to score today, though. I think I'm going to stick with that. I think I'm going to stick with them being able to score. Wolves 0-3 against the spread on Saturday. J-Man likes these Saturday trends. So I'm not messing with not messing with them, man. Mark took the Timberwolves last night, got a 6.5. Dropping dimes to fade the Pistons today and grab them on Monday against Portland. I couldn't talk you off of that. They have not been that great on the road, though. 6-6 against the number, winning by an average of 2 points. It's not a spot you really want to lay with them. They are 3-1 against the number last 4, though. They held the Spurs to 92 points, the Warriors to 90 points, the Clippers to 80 points. And those were the last 3 road games before losing to the Hawks 117-104. I don't know. Detroit team total going to be a little too low for me, in my opinion. But Detroit team total under. Watched them struggle to score against Charlotte yesterday. I think I'm going to add that to the short list, too. Detroit team total under. Looking at Timberwolves team total over. Well, I'll get to one of those. Dropping dimes says he likes the team total over. Feels like Wolves spot today, user says. Minnesota, I like short numbers, though. I agree with that. I'll look into this, Jay, man. He says, Chris, if those Brooklyn guys are out, check the Sixers first quarter under. Okay. Gobert double-double for Marquise. Interested to see what the odds are there. PZ says, back to the well with Dante DiVincenzo over his 10.5 points. Jalen Duren for Snowman over his 10.5 rebounds. Beasley gets back on track today, J-Man says. Beasley should be on the ban list. says he sucks. He has burnt the whole community a couple days in a row. Maybe he's shooting with like a sleep mask on because it's nighttime in Detroit. That boy has been missing like crazy. I think he's like probably 3 for 20 in his last 3 attempts and on his 3-point attempts in the last couple games. And he probably does go for 25 today. Revenge game, didn't play well. Nobody will be on him. If people bet him, he'll probably take his under. Yeah, that's the way the NBA goes, though, you know? That's the way the NBA goes, man. Next game up, Phoenix and Indiana. Very, very interesting game. And let's jump into it. So we got injury report first and foremost. We got Bradley Beal listed as questionable. And Nurkic still remains out. Royce O'Neal, I also see listed as out. I didn't see that. Oh, yeah, he's going to be out at least 10 games, be reevaluated in 10 games, diagnosed with a left ankle sprain. You don't like to see that. Royce O'Neal is a glue guy. If you know, you know, all the way going back to his days in Brooklyn when he played with KD and Kyrie and Harden. On the Indiana side, they look like they have a pretty clean injury report. Aaron Nesmith still remains out. So head-to-head, Indiana has beaten Phoenix the last 2 times going back to last season. They already beat them once earlier this season, 120-111 as 6-point dogs. We talked about liking the Pacers a lot in that spot earlier this season. So they were getting 6. Now they open as 1-point favorites. The line is up to 2, so people are betting the Pacers. The total 7-3 to the under last 10, including the game that happened earlier this season, under 235.5 was a winner in that last game. Situationally, you look at the Suns, 3 straight losses. It's a desperation spot for the Suns, it feels like, in my opinion. I know people not going to like them, but it's a desperation spot, in my opinion, for the Suns. 3 straight losses. They lost to the Mavericks, they lost to the Golden State Warriors, and they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies in their last 3 games. I don't think they've won a game since the Christmas Day game when they beat the Denver Nuggets. KD said after the game the other day against Memphis, he said he has to be better. He took a lot of the blame for their recent skid. This Phoenix Suns team is in a bad spot. 3-7 straight up. 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. 7-3 to the under, including 5 straight unders. Offense just has not been there. The Suns opened the 2025 portion of their slate with 2 games below 500. They're 11th in the Western Conference right now, a game and a half outside of the final play-in spot. I was just kind of looking into some quotes because I really want to take Phoenix today. I think they're the right side. I know offensively they struggle, defensively they struggle, but this is the confidence boosting kind of win that you need, in my opinion, especially with the Pacers being so hot right now. And I don't want to fade the Pacers either. Pacers have been absolutely money. 7-3 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. They have been better on the road for whatever reason. Watched them, melt the game away against the Bucks the other day. But then they bounced back in a really strong way, beat the brakes off the Miami Heat the other day. They've gone over in 5 straight games. Offensively, they've really, turned it up. But listening to, the post-game interview from the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker had a quote. He said, frustration level is high. We realize these games are going to cost us at the end of the season. So you want to do your work early, pre-All-Star break. With that, like Bradley Beal, in my opinion, is the weak link of the big three. I think most people probably would agree with that. But just his injury health too. I know Devin Booker and Kevin Durant always like pop up on the injury report and miss a few games, but Bradley Beal just seems like he can't get right. He give me Tracy McGrady vibes. Like, remember when T-Mac got hurt at the end of his career and like he was just always on the injury report? That's how I feel about Bradley Beal. Like, you've had plenty of days off of rest and, to recover. Like, you can't. What is Bradley Beal doing out here, man? If Bradley Beal was in, I think I like it a little bit more. I do think that when you're playing against the Indiana Pacers, you kind of need all hands on deck. I don't want to fade the Pacers. I don't want to fade the Pacers. I don't want to fade the Suns either, in my opinion. When I think about player prop wise, and this is the first time we'll get over to we'll transition over to Outlier, 7-day free trial in the link in the description. If you guys are interested in checking out Outlier. When I think about this game and I think about Kevin Durant kind of calling himself out, I think about betting on Kevin Durant. He's my favorite player prop of the day today. 27.5 points is the total. I do think the game goes under, but I think Kevin Durant does a lot. Hopefully Bradley Beal just sits out. We don't have to worry about him being questionable and playing, maybe not playing. Kevin Durant, last 10 games, up and over 6 of the last 10. Now, we know Devin Booker had been out for a few of those games, but even with Devin Booker back, it's going to take a while. Devin Booker said some things after the game, talked about having to take a few games to kind of trust the injury that he had and landing and all that good stuff. I think Kevin Durant puts the onus on himself today, man. You can see the points in the last 10 games. You can see what he did in the head-to-head matchup. The time that he played him earlier this season, he had a 37-point game. He's averaging 32.1 over his last 7-game stretch, up from 27.7. So you can see that he's been, cashing as of late, and the numbers go with it, man. Last 5 games, you can see him. At Denver, he finished right at 27. But fast-paced game. We know that the Pacers only play one way, and I think that helps Kevin Durant get a few more shots in this game. So I like KD points. You can see down here, he's shooting about 48% last 5 games, only making 36% of his threes. Hopefully he can hit a couple threes today. Getting to the free throw line just about a little over 9 times per game, playing about 36 minutes. And like I said, I think it's a super desperation spot versus trying to pick a side in the game, because I do think the Pacers can win this game. I do think that the Suns can win this game. Wouldn't surprise me either team won. I think I just bet on KD up and over his 27.5 points, thinking that he can get to 30 today. Slim Reaper game. No, he don't like, people. No, he don't, like to mess up people parlays and all that good stuff. I think he's in a good spot today. The other thing I'll mention for why I like Kevin Durant today is Nembhard's a nuisance on the defensive end. He can really slow things up and mess people up on the defensive end. I love Nembhard. Nembhard is one of my favorite defenders in the league. He's gonna get Devin Booker most likely. I don't think they really have a great matchup for Kevin Durant though. So Kevin Durant up and over his 27.5 points would be my top look in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking. What up, Cup of Joe? Booker going off today, Steven says. What up, Christian? Says, morning, y'all. I'm taking Beasley over his points today for sure, J-Man says. Halliburton has been on a revenge arc lately, liking his points plus rebound, Snowman says. Pacers, easy money, J-Man says it's going to be easy against the Suns today. Tasha says, I forgot to say greetings, everyone. My Knicks first half money line cash, OKC second half cash. Pacers team total. Dropping down says they run them out the building today. Probably get to 120. He likes the Pacers to get to 118. I don't know if I like it today, man. Don't know if I like it today. Eric says Halliburton over his 3.5 rebounds. Suns easy money today. So we got some conflicting trends here. Dropping down says I think the Pacers will score, but Phoenix is due for a win. So he thinks it's an over game. I think the Pacers in the, let's see real quick. If we look at the Suns this season in wins, when the Suns win the game, They are Suns win the game. They're 9-6 to the under. In their wins, they're averaging 115 points and giving up 108. So if you like the Pacers, if you like the Suns to win, then you like the Suns. You like the game to go under. That's 223 points. If they win on the road, they are 5-0. Well, 5-0, of course, when they win. They're 4-1 against the number when they win on the road. 4-1 to the over. Those games are averaging 236 points, though. So do the Pacers play defense? This makes me think over now. I was thinking under. Suns road wins. They're averaging 122 points per game. They beat the Jazz twice. They beat the Mavs, scored 114. They beat the Clippers twice, 125 and 116. Okay. Pacers going out rebound the Suns. That's how they win, Dean says. Without Nurkic, it's going to be a little bit difficult, I think, to go down there and get some boards. So I don't think I necessarily disagree with this take at all. Real quick, let's just look at the Phoenix Suns rebounded numbers last few games. They are on the full season, not a great offensive rebounding team, actually bottom 6. Last 5 games, they're actually the 5th best offensive rebounding team last 5 games. That's interesting. Pulling down 31.2% of their own misses. That's 5th best in the league right now. Let's see. I know the Pacers have been doing a really good job on the boards too. It feels like I feel like I remember seeing that last time I looked at the Pacers numbers, and I can imagine they've only gotten better. Pacers are good. Pacers are really good. They're the 3rd best defensive rebounding, 3rd best team in the NBA last 5 games at limiting opponent offensive rebounds. So you don't like that as much. Suns, as far as second chance points, they're not great last 5 games. 23rd in putback, in points scored per putback over the last 5 games. Only 23rd, 20th in putback opportunities. Here's the thing. Is Phoenix going to be able to stop the Pacers from getting out and running? That's going to be the key. Let's see. Pacers are 10th in transition frequency, 2nd in transition point score per 100 possessions. Phoenix, 8th last 5 games. So they've done a really good job of getting back. 8th in transition frequency for their opponents, 5th in opponent point score per 100 possessions. So maybe a little. This tells me under as well. I think this leans itself to a little bit more towards the under. But I think the Suns get the job done today, man. I do not want to fade the Suns. I think I'm gonna just bet on Kevin Durant, honestly. Loyalty, I think this is a new name in the chat. It says been back in the Pacers CPL games. Not sure what that means. After Nembhard came back, Neesmith will put them back where they were when he was healthy too. I kind of agree with that. Team Red Wolf says Bill is the worst star in the NBA. Bradley Beal. You know what? I'm not gonna slander the guy. I used to like Bradley Beal when he played in DC. I'm not gonna slander Bill. Needs to be the 6th man, Marquis says, instead of offense off. They need some offense off the bench. I don't think I disagree with that. Dean says Pacers -2 free. I might take -5. What up, Chad? He says lots of love for the Pacers. Phoenix play of the day for me. And I love when I see this from Chad. Going against the whole world. I'm doing a show with Jay Money later at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on his channel. I bet you Jay liked the Suns today. Jay, Chad on the Suns. I think I might get there with the Suns. I'm taking Kevin Durant points, though, regardless of what they playing today. I do think it's a Suns spot. KD over 31.5 points and assists, Jalen says. Love Durant props, Mitchell says. Love Devin Booker over his 2.5 threes, DJ Fitz says. Lot of love for different things in this game today. Pacers at home with rest, 11-2 to the over, GOB bet says. So stay away from the under is what he's telling me here. Chad says, pull the goddamn trigger, Chris. Phoenix rolls in this spot. They do get revenge. They are coming off 3 straight losses. They should be healthy, whether Bradley Beal plays or not. I just think Royce O'Neal not being there. They need Nurkic on the glass. I'm betting KD points. That's what I like here, Chad. I like Kevin Durant points. Miles Turner over his points. All right, this is probably the game of the day. I love the Discord, the back and forth in the comments, reading y'all y'all comments for sure. I am interested in this Bulls money line D Rose day today. We're about to get to that game. All right, let's see. Let's go to the next one. We got Knicks Bulls, as Sel just said in the chat. I think the line opened 5.5. Maybe it was an early line. I didn't see what the line actually opened at. Fell asleep last night on the Lakers game. Woke up in the fourth quarter. Fell asleep on the Memphis Grizzlies game last night. Woke up in the fourth quarter. And then watched the end of that Lakers game last night as well. Shout out to my Lakers, man. Starting to get it going. So I don't know what this open line was, is what I'm saying. 5.5 is what I woke up to. Guessing that was close to the opening line. Total in this one open, I wrote in my notes 233.5. Looks like it's come down to 233 as of now. Yeah, so total coming down. It's a short line for the Knicks to win the game by 3 possessions. They're in a really bad spot here, though. Brunson, start with the injury report. Brunson was a game time decision yesterday. He ended up playing, of course. Yesterday was, so go back to the Knicks game yesterday. It's the prime example of, I know I talked about yesterday the Oklahoma City Thunder being on the 5th game in 7 nights, but the Knicks were also playing their 5th game in 8 nights. And you can tell that OKC is better than the Knicks, in my opinion, because they have so much more depth. Anybody watched the game last night? Wiggins went crazy. They didn't even expect that, but you see that type of stuff. If it's either him, Isaiah Joe, like they got big Jalen Williams, like they got so many other guys, and the Knicks feels like they kind of ran out of gas last night from Tibbs running his players into the ground, even though Brunson was coming off a game where he rested the game before. Not having McBride really showed itself. So I say all that to say Brunson was a game time decision yesterday. We'll see if he plays or not tonight. He didn't play against the Jazz, played last night. McBride didn't play last night, so you got to wait on him. OG took a really hard fall last night. For anybody who watched that game, wouldn't surprise me if he's added to the injury report today. Not saying Tibbs going to rest him, but if he's added to the injury report. And then on the Chicago side, the only person I saw on the injury report was Torrey Craig, listed as doubtful in this game. Ayo DeSumo continues to remain to be remained out. Will continue to remain out in this game. So we cashed the Chicago ticket earlier this season against the Knicks. It was a terrible spot for the Knicks. Chicago beat the Knicks outright earlier this season, 124-123 as an 8.5 point road dog in that game. Chicago, like I said, was getting 8.5 points in that spot. New York was in a very similar spot that they were in today. It was like first game back home after a long road trip. I vividly remember this. First game back home after a long road trip for the Knicks. Chicago had the rest advantage as they do today. Chicago had the rest advantage as they do today. I kind of want to get there with Chicago in this spot. Not sure if I will though. Chicago is so Jekyll and Hyde, boy. So Knicks' second leg of a back-to-back. So far this season, they played back-to-backs 3 times. They're 2-1 straight up, only 1-2 against the spread, 3-0 to the over when they're playing the rest of the Knicks so far this season. Chicago 5-5 in their last 10, which is exactly how I think about the Bulls. Win a game, lose a game. Cover a spread they're not supposed to, and then absolutely get smoked in a game they're not supposed to. 4-5-1 against the number. Exactly who the Bulls are. They can beat the Boston Celtics outright by 9, like they have done, or they can lose to the Wizards by 18, which they just did in their last game. Got smoked by the Wizards in DC. They do have 2 days of rest here. They're 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games, including 3 straight. Another game I have no idea what to do with. I think I got to wait on the injury report. I kind of want to take Chicago in the bounce back spot. I feel like they've been really good off a loss, but they're so Jekyll and Hyde. If the Knicks come in here and want to mollywop the Bulls and they have their thinking about revenge, they could absolutely do it in this spot. So real quick, let's go over to let's go over to MoneyBaller real quick. I feel like I haven't used money. I know I haven't used it on the show today. Let's look at MoneyBaller real quick. And there is a referral code as well for MoneyBaller in the description of the video if people are interested in checking out MoneyBaller. 50% off using code ChrisBeCappinn. So this is a website that I use. Most people know, but it's a website that I use to handicap the games, kind of break it down very quickly. Saves me a lot of time. So you got some situational notes here. You can see situational notes for the Knicks. They got revenge. We just talked about that after losing to the Bulls. Second leg of a back-to-back. Third game in 4 nights. Fourth game in 6 nights. Not a team you really want to be laying a lot of points with, even though this was the spot that the Sixers, the Celtics were in yesterday against the Rockets, and they smoked the Rockets yesterday. All right, so Bulls rest advantage, well rested, 2 days more rest, coming off a loss as a favorite, bounce back spot here. You can see that the next time that these two teams play, the Knicks will be playing against Orlando, back in Orlando again, and the Bulls will be playing against the Spurs at the crib on Monday. All right, so getting into some offensive and defensive metrics, you can see that the Bulls are terrible defensively, 22nd. Knicks, second in offensive rating, pace. Knicks, 26. Bulls playing super fast at second. These are full season stats. But what I really want to see is I just want to see some of the trends. So Knicks as a road favorite in the first half right here, 5-11 against the number. The Bulls as a home dog, not too much better, 5-7. Knicks with the rest disadvantage, only 1-4 against the spread. Bulls with the rest advantage, 5-1 against the number. So very, very compelling numbers here. It says fade the Knicks. It says back the Bulls. Knicks 3-0 to the over. I said this already on the second leg of a back-to-back. Knicks team total in the first half, 5-0 to the under when they're at the rest disadvantage. I'm definitely not betting no money for the Bulls to play defense though. But that's a strong trend. And then you got Knicks as a favorite between 2.5 and 7. They are 8-3 against the number. Bulls getting 2.5 to 7 points, and 5-6 against the number. So about break even. That don't really. It's not enough for me to take anything. I don't think in this spot, if I'm being honest. But check it out if you guys are interested. Check out MoneyBaller. A lot of great info, actionable information over there. All right, one more thing I wanted to check, just looking at my own systems that I run for myself. I want to look at Chicago off a loss. I feel like they've been super profitable in this spot. So Chicago off a game where they did not cover, not super profitable, 11-7 against the number. So they're covering 61% of the games in this spot. Knicks on the road, 10-10 against the number. As a favorite, 16-14 with the rest disadvantage, 4-4. I'm sorry, with the rest advantage, 1-4. That one really sticks out to me. That rest advantage is big in this instance, in my opinion. I think it sets up for a Chicago spot. Chicago with the rest advantage, 5-1 against the number. Knicks 1-5, 1-4 against the number without the rest advantage. Also, it's not just like it's the rest advantage. It's the second leg of a back-to-back versus 2 days of rest. It's also fourth game in 6 nights with travel from OKC to Chicago. So I think Chicago plus the points would be the only way that I would look at this game, but I'm not sure if I'll bet it. Not sure if I'll bet it at all. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Let's see. Your man says same thought y'all had on the Knicks, but your eyes watching Suns trash on the road. Pace is rolling. Okay. Got to remember when you play. If you didn't play at a certain level, I understand. I don't know what that means, dude, man. Heard enough. Moving on both KD and the Suns. Straight bets. Justin says, love the straight bets. Chad says, you could give Tibbs 11 All-Stars on the team. He's still only playing top 7. Hey, bro, that's crazy. That resonates so much with me, man. Tibbs will play starters into the ground. What up to my guy Finesse says hit the like button. Knicks 1-3, J-Man says, against the spread on Saturdays. Not a chance, Chad says he bets the game. I don't think I'm betting the game as well. What up, Jacob? Appreciate you for tapping in. No reason to bet a 5.5 spread. That's in no man's land for Andrew. Andrew says. GLB Bet says Knicks 12-5 against the spread after a double-digit loss on the road. Big Zesty gonna go crazy. Finesse says. Cat over his 24.5 points. Cat's been so good this year, man. I don't think I've been playing Cat props enough. Let's see. Faden Halliburton under 19.5 points for Eco. Okay. Chad says it's most definitely pure bull spot, but I can't do it. And I'm right there with you, man. Jacob says he'll lay to 5. He'll take Cat over his 23.5 points. Sprinkle on 25. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with the injury report when it gets ruled out. Brian says Knicks 3-0 Sunday through Monday on a waxing croissant moon in a low tide. Booch been killing them threes for sure. ATM over his 1.5 threes if you think he's going to get the looks today, which, I mean, he could. I'm interested to know. I'm not going to do it on the show right now, but I'm interested to know. I said that the Bulls were 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games. So the totals have been set a tad bit too high for the Bulls. I'm interested to know how much that's been without Ayo Dosunmu. And Zach LaVine has also been rolled out in, I think, 2 of the last 3 games as well. So just some things to kind of take into consideration. I would need the full injury report, and I still probably wouldn't make a play, but we'll see. Yeah, Chad got me rolling in the chat. All right, let's get over to the next game. We got the Jazz and the Heat. Heat land 8.5 points in this game. Total open 224.5 is what I wrote in my notes from yesterday. It's down to 223.5. Or at least it was when the show started. It looks like it's still about there. All right, so getting into this one, we'll start with the injury report, which is paramount in my opinion for this game. John Collins is listed as questionable, an upgrade for him. He's missed the last couple games for the Utah Jazz. On the Miami side of things, Josh Richardson is out. Jimmy Butler, of course, is suspended for 7 games for conduct detrimental to the team. Sounds like something that came from a high school principal for a player getting a student getting suspended from school. Jimmy probably done, but that's neither here nor there. We can't bet on that. Utah 2-8 straight up, 5-5 against the number in their last 10 games. They failed to cover in back-to-back spots against the Denver Nuggets. Got smoked at the crib. Well, they didn't really get smoked, but they didn't cover the number. And then they also lost to the Knicks. They did get smoked in that game without Jalen Brunson. They've actually lost 5 straight, have the Utah Jazz. First leg of a back-to-back, they got a game against the Magic tomorrow in Orlando. They're 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games, not playing a lot of defense and also not getting a ton of offensive rebounds as they typically do. And that all lies on John Collins, in my opinion. He means a ton to the spread. I know that the Jazz are trash. And most people just gonna bet, against them or on them or whatever the case might be. We got to put some numbers to that real quick. I keep an eye on this. John Collins this season, or the Utah Jazz with John Collins, they're actually only getting outscored by about 4 points per 100 possessions with him off the floor. 113 offensive rating, 118 defensive rating. With John Collins off the floor, they're giving up 5 more points per 100 possessions. 123 is how many points they're allowing per 100 possessions, and they're only scoring 109. So they're a 9-point differential without John. They're getting outscored by about 9 more points per 100 possessions without John Collins on the floor. He means a ton. But him being listed as questionable, the Heat, not the greatest rebounding team in the world, but they also got a lot of distractions going on. I don't really want to bet on the Heat right now. I know that the light year is better than the Utah Jazz, but if John Collins is rolled in, I'll probably try to slide in the back door with the Utah Jazz in this spot, thinking that they can keep the game within the number. Miami did lose to Indiana in their last game on the second leg of their back-to-back after beating the Pelicans. This is their 3rd straight home game. They covered 4 of their last 6 games. But if John Collins plays, I think I like him up and over. I think I like the Jazz to be able to keep this one within the number. I feel like, real quick, let me just double check something. I meant to look at this last night. I just want to look at the Utah Jazz. Jazz have been trash for a while, right? I want to see how they play in Miami. I feel like they play good in Miami. Let's double check it. over the last few years, how do the Jazz play when they are in Miami? They are 0-3 straight up, 2-1 against the number in their last 3 meetings, and 3-0 to the over. Games going over by about 17.5 points. They're scoring in this spot, though. 115 back in 2021, 115 in 2023. And the game that they most recently played, they got to 120. So 3 straight games they've scored 115 or more, but they don't play any defense. 126 for the Heat, 119 for the Heat, and 117. So 3-0 to the over. Says that this one may go up and over the total as well. So if John Collins don't play, I think the Heat can name their number for sure. When we think about, a little bit more like in-depth analysis, when we think about, what the Heat want to do and what the Pacers give up, it's the 3-point shot, right? Miami is, their own little version of the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. The Jazz don't defend the 3-point line well at all. So Miami, they're actually 19th in 3-point frequency last 5 games. So they have been shooting a few less threes, but they're knocking them down. 2nd and above the break 3 field goal percentage, shooting 40%. 5th overall in 3-point accuracy, 39%. And Utah, 20th in opponent above the break 3-point accuracy, about 38%. So Tyler Hero could get cooking in this game. And they should be able, I'm thinking Miami's going to be able to score the basketball. Utah, 3rd worst defensive rated team over the last 5 games, giving up about 123 points per 100 possessions, forcing the fewest turnovers. Opponents are shooting 57% effective field goal percentage, which is a combination of 2s and 3s combined. Utah also sending teams to the free throw line at the 5th highest rate, which is important because Miami is shooting right outside the top 10 in free throws. Player prop wise, something I do want to share with you guys really quickly as well. And then I'll go through the comments. In this game, I like Tyler Hero. I think I like his assists a little bit more than I like his points, though. Have not pulled the trigger on Tyler Hero, but this is something that I kind of looked at last night. We know assists against the Utah Jazz, or whoever the primary ball handler is, has been absolutely money. The numbers don't really do this a lot of justice. You can see 10 in his last 10 games. His numbers sitting at 5.5. But this is what jumps out to me. The Jazz already give up the 4th most assists to the point guard. They give up the 3rd most assists. When I went back and looked at the advanced numbers last night, Tyler Hero is making the most passes on the team over the last 5 games. I was just looking at specifically the last 5 games. It's been Tyler Hero, more so than Bam Adebayo. If we filter this to games played, if we just look at it for the full season, and we look at, not that he can't get cooking from the 3-point line, but if we look at games without Jimmy Butler, pretty sure his usage goes up, and boom, there we go. So it gets a little bit better. Last couple games, 3 of the last 4, he's had 9, 10, and 9 assists. So potential should be there, 15, 14, and 12. I think Tyler Hero gets to 6 assists in this game today. So 5.5 minus 135. I hope there's a better number than that because I didn't even take this yet. But this is what kind of stood out to me when I was looking into this game last night from a player prop perspective. One of my favorite player props that I'm an idiot. I haven't locked it in yet. But yeah, and the line has moved. It's minus 135. Best number is on FanDuel at minus 135, minus 145 on DraftKings, minus 140 on ESPN Bet, minus 150 on BetMGM. I like Tyler Hero up and over his assist today at 5.5. I think he can have 7, honestly. So the 5.5 number doesn't scare me too much. I probably should have locked this in last night, but when I handicapped the game, the numbers actually weren't even available yet. So I like Tyler Hero up and over his points, up and over his assist prop versus taking his points. Up and over 5.5 assists for Tyler Hero today. That's what I'm liking today. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Get back into a transition. I think the Peloton guy is going to be here in about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna try to go through the next couple games. That way I can be done by the time that he gets here, and I don't have to stop the show. So let's jump back into it real quick. Go through a couple comments real quick. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Let's see. What up, Tariq? Hope all is well with you, bro. Says looking at the under. I'm not sure which game you're talking about here. Jazz +8, Jacob says. I kind of think so too, man. Justin says he got the Heat. He taking them -7.5. Yeah, Butler got suspended yesterday. 7 games. Probably done. He probably not playing with them anymore. GLB Best likes Miami as well, -7.5. Riley and mess. Bro, Pat Riley is he's like a real gangster, man. I know Jimmy is I know Jimmy, used to kind of being the bully. You're not bullying Pat Riley. Not from a professional level. Like, it's levels to it. And you're a player. He's he at the top of the food chain over there. Damn well might as well be the owner, Pat Riley. Jimmy then found himself in the principal's office, man. He definitely wants out. J-Man says Jazz 5-2 against the spread on Saturdays. The Jazz are 5-2 against the Denver. Most of them probably come at the crib. Jazz turned up on Saturdays at the crib. They beat the Knicks outright at the crib on a Saturday. James Johnson about to cook for Jimmy Butler on Sunday. Former teammate, right? I think they played together. Chaz says I can only look at the Jazz. Doubt I get there. So I like the alignment there. I'm probably not going to get there either. GLB Best says Miami has covered fat spreads in this position. There and today they have. I typically don't laying a lot of points with the Heat at the crib. It's not been profitable over the last few years. This season, to GLB Bet's point, the Heat have been profitable as a home favorite, laying, let's just say they're laying multiple possessions so far this season. So 5.5 or more. The Heat are 6-1 straight up, 4-3 against the number. They're winning by average of 11 points, back-to-back wins, laying 9 to 9.5 points against the Nets and the Pelicans. 4-3 to the under in this spot. I think it goes over though, but that's just my thought. Coop says he likes Bam assists with a sprinkle on a triple-double at +3,000, trying to block out the Jimmy drama with Bam and having him cover his 4.5 assists at the crib. Couldn't talk you off. I like Tyler Hero a little bit more, but it could be a Bam assist game for sure. He's averaging right at 4.5. I saw that number yesterday when I was looking into Tyler Hero lines. Good morning, Kristen. Appreciate you for tapping in as always. Have a great day. J Muse says top of the morning, Chris. Let's get to the bag over the weekend. Jazz playing well, top 10 in shooting recent weeks, and they've been the best first quarter team by net rating recent weeks. Been taking their first quarter spread for them specifically. Okay. Yeah, I talked about this, right? I said the Jazz were 8-1 against the number in the last 10 first quarters. Jazz been coming out with something early for sure. Last 10 games, they are 8-2. Second best team behind the Wizards at 8-1. Bob says stay away game. Jacob likes Bam points and Hero assists. Okay. Bulls easy, Mario says. I hate trusting the Miami offense too, but this is a really good spot to do it. It depends if you like season-long trends or you like league-wide trends, because the Heat have historically put up points against the Utah Jazz. Maybe that's a little bit different with Jimmy Butler not being a part of those games, but they have scored. I already pulled it up and talked about it. Can't talk you off the Hero either, Coop says. Under in the Knicks game, Tariq says. Walker Kessler over his rebounds. Like it at 9.5 or 10.5. Even if John Collins plays, I think that number could potentially go under if John Collins plays. GLB Best says Miami 6-2 against the spread as a favorite after not covering as well. So a bounce back spot for the Heat here. Eric says Jazz cover. Back with this game, Tasha says. Yeah, a lot of conflicting trends. Saturdays are tough, man. And this is a really tough one too. All right, so getting into the next one, we got Nuggets and Spurs. Line open 2.5. Well, open 2 in favor of the Denver Nuggets on the road here. I think people thought that they were going to win the game yesterday. I said I really liked. I see this at 3.5 on some books as well. I said I really liked San Antonio yesterday. Plus the 7.5 on the show. It ended up going down to 6.5. They didn't even need the points. They said hold the points. We're gonna beat the San Antonio Spurs outright. And that's what they were able to do yesterday. So second of a little, back-to-back. Both of the teams got to get on planes and fly to San Antonio for this game. I didn't really go through this game in too much, because they had a game yesterday. So I didn't really dive too much into this. Denver has been seesawing back and forth. It's a super short number with a revenge spot. They probably, should be able to bounce back in this spot. They have not been profitable on the road as a favorite though. 5-5 straight up in their last 10 games, 2-8 against the spread. I'm sorry, 5-5 straight up in their last 10 road games as a favorite, 2-8 against the spread as a road favorite so far this season are the Denver Nuggets. Only 2 covers, actually both came against the Jazz. We were on them in the first one, didn't play the second one, but they covered both games against the Jazz on the road. All their other games they failed to cover. They're 6-0 straight up, however, though. So that's the conflicting thing. On the road as a favorite, 2-8 against the spread. On the second leg of a back-to-back, 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the number. I had already wrote those numbers down yesterday. So when they plan to rest it, you typically don't want to fade Denver. San Antonio, 2-3 straight up and against the spread, playing unrested this season. They failed to cover 3 straight in this spot. If Denver takes this game serious and want to get some quick revenge, maybe they can get the job done. If we think about, I do kind of want to read about this game too, because I didn't watch too much of it yesterday. I was kind of flipping back and forth between the earlier games and this one. Didn't watch the fourth quarter though. Did see Denver, San Antonio. We talked about liking San Antonio early. I think they covered the trifecta spot. They are also 8-2 in the first quarter in their last 10 games as well. So San Antonio has been coming out with something. What was that? I was something else I was about to say. I want to see what was said after the game. Remember, this is what I was going to say. If you listen to why I like Denver yesterday, it was because why I like San Antonio yesterday is because they do a really good job of protecting the rim. They're actually number 1 in rim frequency. In opponent rim accuracy. And we know that's where Denver wants to score a lot of their points at, is right in the paint. They're not a great 3-point shooting team on the road. I think they get worse from the 3-point line. So looking at it real quick, I'm just reading this live, just reading through the game. So San Antonio Spurs will look for a mid-season sweep of the Denver Nuggets when they host the Nuggets on Saturday. They beat them 113-110 on Friday behind Victor Wembanyama's 35 points and 18 rebounds. The Spurs clinched the win in the waning moments after Devin Vassell stole a pass from Nikola Jokic and converted a layup in the second with 2 seconds left. Quote, "We knew the ball was going into Jokic, and we wanted to crowd him and get it out of his hands, and that worked," Vassell said as the game said of his game-sealing steal and bucket. We had a lull in the third quarter, but we stayed aggressive and made more plays down the stretch. We have to do that again tomorrow. Devin Vassell finished with 18 points on Friday's victory, while Chris Paul had 11 assists. Hit the layup with 54 seconds left to play. That put San Antonio on top for good. San Antonio has won 3 of their past 4 games and are 2 games above 500 for the 3rd time this season. The Spurs played Friday's game without Jeremy Sohan, who's nursing a sore back. That snapped a streak of 7 games, which the San Antonio Spurs began to play with the preferred starting lineup. Spurs interim coach Mitch Johnson said the team's recent 4-game road trip, during which it won just once, but lost the other 3-game contest by 10 points, set the table for Friday's win. Quote, "This game should give us a reference point for future games," Johnson said. Friday's win was a great moment of growth for the team. We had a lot of players step up and play well for us. We have been working hard and getting better. What was said on the other side? That's what I need to see. What he's doing right now, I think he's coming off a month in December that's never been done before. And I did see that. He's the only player that did whatever he did in December. I heard the announcers talk about this yesterday. Denver coach Mike Malone said of Wembanyama before the opening game. And it's fun to watch. A great player continues to get better, which is scary at the same time. So not a lot of quotes there. The reality is, while AG is out, other guys have to step up, Malone said. They're doing a lot of they're doing that a little more consistently as of late. I kind of need to read. I want to go back and watch the post-game interview. So my apologies for not being able to handicap this game before. But I don't really want to bet against San Antonio right now. 6-4 straight up, 8-2 against the number. They've covered 8 straight games, which I think is the longest streak in the NBA. Denver is in a immediate bounce back spot. They do got a game against the Boston Celtics coming up on deck back at the crib. I think this game will be played on Tuesday, so potential look ahead spot for them here. San Antonio first game back after just one road game. They actually play again against Chicago on Monday, so they go back on the road. That's a bad spot for them. They've been playing a lot of games back and forth, home, road, road. So that's probably a terrible spot for them. But yeah, they continue to play really good, especially on the defensive end. I think this, looking at the total, I did have some thoughts on the total. It was at 238 and a half yesterday is what it's closed at. And we see it come down to 236 and a half. Denver's offense is not as good on the road. San Antonio's can struggle offensively. I think, Denver plays with a little bit more. When these line makers open the total less than the previous total, it's typically a sign that the game goes under. So I would be looking a little bit towards the under. San Antonio is under in 3 of their last 4 games. Denver is been an over team, but like I said, a lot of their points like to come in the paint. People probably gonna bet on Wemby. It makes sense in the back-to-back. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I'm gonna stop rambling. Pat Riley said, "Hold my beer." Let's see. Nugget spot, Coop says. It should be a nugget spot, man. I got more work to do, Coop, before I feel super confident on this one, if I'm being honest. Off topic, but congratulations to the Commanders for making the playoff. Mitchell says, shout out to Jaden Daniels and the coaching staff. Yeah, man. I hope Cliff Kingsbury don't leave us, man. I'm a diehard Commanders fan. I want him to stay. I know he out of there though. We had a good 1 season run. He out. Jacob says he took the money line at -135. Spurs first quarter back to the well again. Like Jokic to go over his 30.5 points off volume alone. Denver quick revenge. Denver money line revenge, but Wemby been balling, playing at the crib. Spurs +3, home dog in a weird spot. Give me the points. G Hurd says Jokic 6-0 off, no rest. Spurs money line still big Jazzy. I think is how you pronounce that. Denver revenge. I figured people was gonna think that. Nuggets money line. The books know the Nuggets split stats, just like we do. Dean says. The Spurs win was not expected yesterday. I want to jump on them. If they lost, tough decision. May look at a live bet. Can see that. Dean says Michael Porter Jr. points and assists over 20.5. CP3 over his 12.5 rebounds and assists. A plus the under at 238. Jalen says, I like this. CP3 had 11 assists last night. I think he can keep that going. Denver is not playing a lot of defense. CP3 assists makes a ton of sense to me. I do like the under as a straight bet as well. CP3 assists, though, thinking that he can keep it going, makes a ton of sense to me. I like that number a lot. Dominant trends for Denver tonight on the back-to-back rematch as a loser in the first. Indigo says, any good apps to use while in Georgia? My homeboy uses Bovado, I think, in Georgia. Jazir. What up, Joe? Says he got the Nuggets -2. Brian says Malone did talk about coming out strong at first and second quarter, but San Antonio at home is money. I feel like the Spurs were in a revenge spot the other day. Real quick, let's just look at this. Spurs were in a revenge spot the other day against the Clippers. And they haven't been super profitable this season. 3-4 straight up, 4-3 against the spread. They're losing by an average of 2 points, which is right where this line is. They have won back-to-back games in revenge spots this season, but it's not a revenge spot. I meant to say after a win. So if they beat you the first time, they lose by 2 on average the second time. 4-4 straight up, 3-5 against the number. They did beat the Blazers in the last one, but they lost. They got smoked by the Timberwolves. Lost to the Trailblazers. Well, didn't cover against the Trailblazers, so they don't cover as much. As a home dog this season, the Spurs are 5-5 straight up, 5-5 against the spread, 7-3 to the under. Yet again, under. I like under here. I'm adding that to my short list. Under here. Under 236.5, I think is the best number available right now. What else? Bitsy says, just take Jokic over 30.5 points. Don't overthink it. Wemby. No Wemby, terrible on back-to-back. Wemby not playing? Says don't bet Wemby. Okay. After watching the game last night, Wemby should have 12 plus threes at 3 attempts. I'll be on his over 2.5, over 3.5. DJ Fit says he's been killing. Joe says since 2020, teams off a loss with no rest facing the same opponent are 28-16 against the spread. LJ says you can take the Spurs third quarter at the crib, just like Denver last night. Third quarter at the crib. Love to see that, Andrew. All right. Let's see. How many more games we got left in general? I think it's just one, right? 2, 3. I'm moving that slow. I gotta hurry up. Portland versus Bucks. This was a spot. So line open. I wrote in my notes 11.5. I did see it move up to 12.5. It looks like consensus right now is 12.5. I do see it moving up to 13. Total is not really moving a lot. 228.5. Opened at 228. It did go down to 227 though. So injury report here. Jeremy Grant is out. AJ Green is probable. He did not play in that last game when they lost to the Nets the other day. Jeremy Grant's missed the last handful of games. And those are the only guys on the injury report. Chris Middleton, Damian Lillard, and Giannis should all be a part of this game. So this is the first head-to-head meeting. Portland upset Milwaukee the last time that they played last season. They beat them 119-116 as 10.5-point home dogs. Portland also kept the game close in Milwaukee as well. They lost 102-108 last season as a 13-point road dog, which is exactly what the line is today. 4 of the last 5 head-to-head games have gone under the total. I think that's what I like here, man. I think I like under. So jumping into the matchup, Portland back-to-back losses against the Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers, back-to-back non-covers as well. They're just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. On the Bucks side, 1 day's rest, second straight home game. They lost by 3 to the Brooklyn Nets as a 12-point home favorite. They've only covered 1 of their last 4 games. I was kind of going through it thinking that this was a bounce-back Bucks spot. Now, do I want to lay 12.5? Hell no, not with the Bucks. Like, even if it is a bounce back spot, 12.5 is a super high number. I think the play here is the Portland Trailblazers team total to go under, though. Jeremy Grant ruled out, like, definitely hurts the offense, in my opinion. I think you get effort from the Bucks here. That's why they lost the game. They talked about it in the post-game interview. Giannis said that when they played together, they're really, really good. He says that when they don't play together, they're really, really bad. And same thing from Bobby Portis. He echoed the same sentiments. Same thing with Glenn and Ham Sandwich. They both kind of talked about it after the game as well. So I looked into a couple things. First one I looked at was this season, teams coming off a loss as a double-digit favorite, they typically play well in the next game. They're 10-2 against the spread in their next game. So they do typically cover. When I look at the Bucks, they're 6-2 to the under when they're coming off a game where they lost as a favorite. So typically they lock back in on the defensive end. They've held 6 of their 8 opponents under their team total in this spot. It's all about effort, in my opinion. Like I said, Bobby Portis said in so many words that they got to stop cheating the game and give effort. I'm expecting them to do so in this spot tonight. Portland has been bad. Portland has been bad in general, but they've taken a lot of shots at the rim. They're number 1 in rim frequency, 11th in long mid-range frequency. That's their 2 most frequent shot zones. The Bucks have been good against both of those shot zones. They're top 10 in both of those over the last 5 games. Portland isn't a team that shoots the 3 well, which I think you kind of bet on team total unders when they don't shoot the 3-point shot well. So the Nets shot the 3 really, really well in that last game. I think we see a little bit better effort from the Bucks in this spot. Portland only averaging 102 points on the road this season. They're 12-5 to the under on the road, including 4-1 to the under in their last 5 games. As a double-digit road dog this season, they're only averaging 100 points. 7-2 to the under. So I like the full game under, but I like Portland team total under as well as 108.5. I have not bet it yet. Wanted to do a little bit more digging, but that's what I came up with so far. Portland team total under in this game, or just a full game under. I don't think the Bucks gonna need to score 120 points. Not that they can't, but I don't think they're gonna need to score 120 points in this game. Let's see. GLB Best says I hate it, but he likes the Bucks minus 12.5. So some agreement there, but I don't 12.5 is big. Woo. Pause that. 12.5 points is a big number to lay. J.R. says Wemby birthday, Milwaukee minus the 12, too many points, might just break it in half. First half minus the 6.5. Couldn't talk you off of that, Brian. Bucks lost to the Nets twice. I think they've lost 3 times, Andrew. But I could be wrong. Bucks first quarter, I can see them coming out with something early. GLB Best says teams after losing as double-digit favorites, 9-1 against the spread, taking double digits, home favorites facing a non-conference opponent who lost to in their last matchup 8-0 against the spread. GLB Best riding with his system. Could not talk you off at all. Alex Burrow says Dame has a big game against his former team and Simons over his points against Dame. Okay. Dame revenge game. Yeah, we had to throw that in there. No Diddy. All right. So that's the way I like that one. That was a super quick breakdown because I did look into that game. Like I said, hasn't got to the window yet. But Portland team total under, full game to go under. Bucks first quarter. I can see all of those things happening today. And I like this one from Jacob as well. Dame up and over his assist today. Makes a ton of sense. He's been crushing that line, whether they win or lose. You can see them kind of sleepwalking. There's an account that I follow on the Bucks beat writer list that I have over on Twitter for people. Most people know about that list, but if you don't know about the list, I do follow all the beat writers and I got all of them in a list over on Twitter. If I get to it real quick, there's one that I was looking at this morning. There's an account that follows the Bucks called Bucks Film Room, and they were just talking about how lazy they were on the defensive end, kind of getting caught ball watching, hands in their pocket on the defensive end. The numbers show that they typically bounce back in that spot. So that's what I'll look at in that game. Next one up, we got the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. This line was at 6.5 yesterday before Steph got ruled out. Total was at 239.5 last night is what I wrote down. Steph ruled out. Wiggins is listed as probable. On the Memphis side, we have no idea who's going to play because it's the second leg of a back-to-back. I would have kind of expect all these guys to be ruled out, but Santi Aldama was ruled out yesterday. Maybe he returns. I'm not sure. Marcus Smart's been out for the last few games. There will be no Ja Morant. Just getting straight to the total, Golden State, and I've said this on the show before, 19 points fewer is what they score per 100 possessions without Steph on the floor. 19. I think that's the biggest drop-off in the NBA this season. 19 points fewer. So that immediately makes me think that this game goes under. Even though the Memphis Grizzlies did not play a lick of defense in their last game, they got smoked by the Sacramento Kings. And they play super fast, so it makes it very, very scary to play it under here. You do got a big. Golden State was actually going to be my top player today. 6.5 was a tad bit too many points, but I was going to find a way to get to Golden State. That was going to be the top play on the day, in my opinion, before Steph got ruled out, because you got the major revenge spot here. The last time that these two teams played, Memphis smoked the Golden State Warriors, beat them 144-93 back on December the 19th. That's a fresh wound. Like, that's fresh. Memphis was actually 2-point dogs in that spot as well. Golden State has played really, really well against the Memphis Grizzlies in Golden State. They've won 8 straight games in the head-to-head matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies in Golden State specifically. 5-4 against the spread in those games. You got Memphis on the second leg of a back-to-back in the last game of a 4-game road trip. Even though they lost the game last night against the Kings, I think that they was going to lose the game. I was hoping that they won last night, and then I was going to definitely take the Golden State Warriors today, but Golden State hasn't had to travel. Memphis got the big divisional game against the Dallas Mavericks up next as well. Golden State not been great, but it's crazy that they're laying 6.5, but they were laying 6.5 points with Steph in this spot. They're only 3-7 against the spread, straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. 4 straight home game for them. First leg of a back-to-back with the Kings coming to town tomorrow. 1 day's rest. It sets up for a really good spot for them, especially kind of building some momentum after smoking the Philadelphia 76ers in their last game. So that's the way I was looking. Now I don't know where to look. Memphis is, I think somebody mentioned this at the top of the show, they're 5-0 straight up and against the spread on the second leg of a back-to-back. 4-1 to the over in that spot. Golden State just 3-4 straight up, 2-5 against the number when they're playing unrested opponents. 5-2 to the under in that spot. This is a straight stay away from me. I have no idea what to do with this game. Watching the Memphis Grizzlies play so poorly yesterday probably tells me that they come back with something today. We know that Golden State's going to struggle without Steph scoring the basketball. It's a short number for Golden State. I can't get there at all with anything in this game. So we'll just see what you guys are talking about. Grizzlies first quarter, Joe says. 1780 Guap says this is our spot. Grizzlies played better on the second leg of a back-to-back. Yesterday really wasn't our spot. We're lackluster coming off a days of rest. So I think they played better on the second leg of a back-to-back. That's what the numbers say. Peasy says take Kuminga up and over his points. I love it. I love Kuminga today. I will be adding Kuminga to my short list. If not Kuminga, then who? Over 21.5 points. Steve Kerr has been showcasing him and talking about it in the post-game interviews as well. Love the Kuminga look. This game is going to be played super fast. Memphis on the second leg of a back-to-back. I just said they're 4-1 to the over. No Steph. I'm not sure how they're going to score without Kuminga today. Indigo says been auto-fading the Blazers team total on the road 1-9 to their team total under in their last 10 road games. Bucks 11-3 to the under after a loss. This is what I was looking at. Like the alignment here, bro. Love the alignment there. Grizzlies giving back first quarter money from yesterday. I'm with you, Joe. Brian likes that first quarter. Guap says we didn't get smoked. Jared Jackson Jr. cost us sending guys to the foul line and Pippen with those careless turnovers. Yeah, I think the Memphis Grizzlies are better than they played yesterday. But like you're missing a lot though. You're missing a lot. Like it's not just because you're missing Marcus Smart and John Moran, in my opinion. When you start throwing in Santi Aldama and specifically Santi Aldama, he's averaging like 17 points off the bench. Like it tends to be a lot. Definitely tends to be a lot. Last game, Steph went scoreless. 1780 Guap says. Joe says Warriors only 1-4 with in-season revenge this season. Grizzlies 10-1 against the spread off a loss. So I think it's the Grizzly spot, 5-0 without rest. Indigo says I just mentioned that. Warriors third most team allowing rebounds against opponents. Give me Draymond over his rebounds and assists. Snowman says. And Dropping Dom says Buddy Hield unders on everything. His minutes have went to hell. That could be something to watch. He's gonna need to be scoring the basketball in this spot. Dropping Doms. So I don't know. Steve Kerr gonna have to change up the rotation again without Steph, in my opinion. Being down another guard, you're gonna need a shooter. So I don't know how much I agree with you there. I agree with that. He's been playing like trash. Draymond told him to wake the hell up or go sit the hell on the bench the other day. Man, it's tough. It's tough in my opinion. I watched, the Memphis Grizzlies just play defense with a blindfold on last night. They're just out there walking around, not being able to keep up with anybody. It was very frustrating to watch. Memphis gave up 138 points to the Sacramento Kings. The Kings hit 21 threes last night. They probably haven't made 21 threes all season. 45% from the three-point line. Monk hit 6. Keon Ellis hit 2. Trey Lyles hit 4. Hit 3 in the first quarter. Sabonis hit 3. DeRozan hit 4. Like, I can't bet against Buddy Hield today with the Kings, with the Memphis Grizzlies defense playing that bad. I'm gonna need to take a game to lick my wounds. Dropping down. So don't let me talk you off your Buddy Hield unders, but I can't play Buddy Hield's unders in this spot, especially with the revenge after getting smoked like that. What up, Captain Zax? Is my guy Chris just flew through that Memphis versus Warriors game like an auctioneer. I'm probably not going to be on it unless I hear a compelling speech today from somebody. Probably not going to be on it, man. All right, last game we got up, Hawks and the Clippers. We got lining this one open. I thought I wrote down something lighter than 6.5. I want to say this was lower than 6.5. It looks like it opened at 4. It's up to 7 now. So total is about the same, but money has come in, pushed the Clippers to damn near double-digit favorite in this spot. Or now you're at least needing them to win by double digits, so it's not too sweaty of a bet. Didn't watch the post-game interview for the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. We noted they're on the second leg of a back-to-back. They are without, Trae Young and Jalen Johnson were both listed as questionable yesterday. And both of them ended up playing. Still wasn't enough for my Lakers. Bogdanović also played in that game last night, I want to say. Still wasn't enough for my Lakers. And then on the Clippers side, you get Kawhi back. Kawhi Leonard playing his first game. James Harden's off the injury report. Terrence Mann is off the injury report. This defense should be really, really good. Kawhi probably going to be on a minutes limit, probably for the next 3 months. probably won't play second leg of back-to-backs until 2037, but their defense should improve. Even if he is a little rusty offensively, their defense should improve a lot, especially getting Terrence Mann back as well. Not even looking too deeply into the cap. I think realistically, it could be an Atlanta team total under. We just watched them get stifled by the Lakers last night, and I still think the Clippers defense are better than the Lakers. Clippers also probably going to be super motivated in this spot. They're coming off back-to-back losses, got smoked on the road in San Antonio, got smoked in OKC without James Harden. They failed to cover 3 straight games because they didn't cover against the Pelicans either. But they do have 1 day's rest. We'll be at home for the first home for the first time in 3 games, and they played 6 of their last 7 games on the road as well. So this spot to me kind of speaks to Atlanta team total under in back-to-back nights, in my opinion, with them having to play against a slow pace, grinded out style defense. The Atlanta Hawks team total is 110.5. It looks like it's the best number, and that's something that I'll add to my short list here. Atlanta team total under 110.5 against the Clippers. I'm thinking that they bounce back defensively in this game. So those are my thoughts on this one. Just a quick handicap there. Let's see. DeRozan definitely haven't hit 4 threes all season until last night. That's the type of luck I get, Peasy. Hawks and the Grizzlies are a really good 3-point defense. That's the crazy part. This is the variance of the NBA, though. Dean says he likes the Hawks +7. Kawhi back. BJ says Clippers spot and situation. Fading the Hawks again, BJ says. Coop says, do I take Norman Powell in the bounce back game over 23.5 point or wait until Kawhi gets officially ruled in and maybe it drops by a point? I think it drops, Coop. I definitely think it drops. You also, the Clippers are so precautious with Kawhi that he could be going through shoot around and say he don't want to play today no more, have a little minor setback and it'd be the next game. So I would definitely wait on the number. Kawhi gonna be on the injury report until he retires now with AD and Bron. Yeah. Appreciate you, Justin, for tapping in. Taking steps back on centers and power forwards, rebounds against the Heat, the system play. I'm not sure. I gotta look a little bit deeper into that. Mark got the Clippers last night at a really good line at 5.5. Clippers get right after 2 losses. Like it at 7.5, Brian says. Peasy says, I agree with the Atlanta team total under. Them boys probably out there in LA partying. Definitely won't play basketball against the Lakers last night. I wish I would have knew it would have been that easy. I would have bet on my team. BJ says this line indicates that Kawhi already is in, so no need to wait. Full game under. He could have a setback though, BJ. We've seen that happen a couple times, especially with a guy first came back. Full game under, RJ says. I guess. I would just look more towards Atlanta team total under. But you could also wait on the injury report. Like, does Jalen Johnson play on the second leg of a back-to-back? Bogdanovich was his first game back in the last game. Does he play on the second leg of a back-to-back? This line probably could get worse, in my opinion. Definitely could get worse. All right, so that's it. Whole slate we've been through. Hour, 30 minutes plus minutes on the show. Hope something I said was helpful for you guys today. Kevin Durant, though, I'm looking at his points prop up and over as my favorite play on the slate for today. Have not locked in Tyler Hero. I also got, so let's just go back to the top. I got first game on the board was the Timberwolves game. So Timberwolves team total over. Minnesota team total over. I think the number was 112.5. I think they can get to 113. 112.5. Unofficial play right now. Detroit, hold on real quick. Detroit team total is 105. Yeah, that's a little too low. San Antonio, Denver. I like the under. Haven't been playing a lot of unders, but this one makes a lot of sense. Under 236. CP3 in that same game, up and over his 7.5 assists. I think we can expect CP3 to continue to dish the rock. Over 7.5 assists. Kuminga over his points. Somebody mentioned that. Jonathan Kuminga. Over 21.5 points. That line, I am expecting this line to move too. I don't think Kuminga is going to be set at 22.5 for the full game. I think this line is probably already on the move. Not something that I was looking into, but I probably should have. And then last but not least, that Atlanta team total under 110.5. Clippers play super slow, man. I don't think Atlanta's getting to 110 in this game. I think Clippers will dictate pace. Atlanta not a good three-point shooting team. Clippers need to win in the worst way. Probably still lay the points with the Clippers as well, if I'm being honest. All right, so these are the top looks for myself. I got a little bit more work to do before I lock up anything. And it's perfect because the Peloton guy ain't got here yet. So best of luck on whatever it is that you're betting, man. Resources are all here as always. jaXon, Outlier, MoneyBaller, OddsJam. Check these out. There's promo codes in the description of the video for each. If you're interested, either 50% off or a 7-day free trial with Outlier or 20% off over at OddsJam. Check these out, though, if you guys are interested. Best of luck on whatever you're betting today. We will be back tomorrow. I got a little bit more work to do. I'll have some more official plays when I do the show with Jay. I will be on live with Jay and my guy LJ as well at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Jay Money on his channel. So best of luck to you guys on all your action, man. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. It's like 20 degrees in Virginia. I'm chilling and going nowhere. But best of luck on your action day, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one.